Black magic, God, Holy Ghost, Lord, orgasmic, order more acid, more than 4 tablets, portal door passage, born before mortal war happened. We were lords way before we were poor black men. Now we like Catherine, only having 4 Jacksons. Sword of pure magic, slaughter 4 dragons. Heat like corduroy fabric, door-to-door tactics. Easy like tortoise on boarded floor backspins. Rapping like the man that created it, and I just play with it. Shine radiant, raising it, sunbathing it. Voice tone sharper than razor tip when I aim it at megaliths, make them raise and lift. You can't relate to this, even if you paint a pic of me and you and somehow make the faces switch. I like to babysit, throne made of baby skin, donated by natives that procreate in sin. They gon' need to raise the rim, they gon' need a cage in that gymnasium. I play to win, Will Still Chamberlain. Put the globe on my middle finger and made it spin. They gon' need to raise the rim, they gon' need the cage in that gymnasium. I play to win, Will Still Chamberlain. Even Damien and Satan is afraid of him. I heard the devil's Tasmanian. Raps made him spin fast, vast, hailing winds. Abstract radiance, underneath my cracked cranium is gas radium.
Peace, family. Welcome to another episode, Underground Railroad Productions. This your host, Brother Rich, a.k.a. Black Magik. Back out here with Red Pill, man. Welcome back, brother.
Peace to the family. Peace to you and yours.
First 90 degree day in NYC this year.
Loving the sun, vitamin D.
Yeah,
had to cool us off with the rain for a little while.
Yeah. Shout out to Kev's. We in the back of Kev's, Direct Print.
Facts.
125th. If you ever in Harlem, make sure you stop by.
Yeah.
Show them what's coming up.
June 3rd, my family. June 3rd. All kind of people are pulling up to me in Harlem talking about June 3rd. All right, Brooklyn is back. You already know. St. Francis College, the gathering of the metaphysical masters, Brother Panic, Aseer The Duke, and our Baba Phil Valentine will be in the building June 3rd from the hours of 1 to 9 p.m. St. Francis College, that's on Remsen Street, right in the beginning of Brooklyn. All you got to do is cross the bridge. It's right there. It's not even deep. So right in the beginning of BK, you'll have St. Francis College right on Remsen Street. Pull up, all right? This is for the upgrade. If anybody out there that needs some flyer business or some kind of graphics done, be sure to hit Brother Rich on the inbox. We'll take care of your graphic needs.
Yeah, Red Pill did that. Red Pill,
yeah,
you
we'll
nice
sprinkle
with them.
some. We'll sprinkle some sauce on you.
That was ill.
Some ragu.
That's ill right there. Yeah. One of the best flies I see, brother.
Thank you.
Yo, Red man, you're the second person that told me this whole free thought thing sounds like a rip-off version of Osho.
Shout out to Osho.
The documentary, anybody who wants to know who Osho is, they got a very interesting documentary on Netflix.
Yeah.
About the whole movement that was going on in 81. That was the year I was born, 81.
Oh, word?
Yeah, it was going down big in 81 with their movement,
big.
man. Where was that,
Real
Wyoming?
big.
Was that Wyoming?
Oregon, I
Oregon,
believe.
yeah.
No, Utah.
Utah, yeah. But it seems like I keep hearing this word free thought on TV now, ever since Kanye saying it. It seems like that's the alt-right version of the woke movement. It seems like the free thought people, Candace Owens and them, is saying, wait. Don't be woke. Don't be too woke. Be free thought. Be our version of woke.
Facts.
So the people with the quote-unquote free thought is telling us how to think.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because how is conscience considered looked down upon by white supremacists, by people whose thought always dominated society? So
Facts.
now their numbers is going down. Now their whole system is going down, and they're telling us that their thought is the woke thought, not our.
Nah, look at the trajectory.
Yeah.
Don't be a whole tepper, right? Don't be into your consciousness. Don't be into your ancestor. You know what I mean? Don't be into your tradition. Be woke, because you can be woke so you don't fall under all of the quote unquote, you know what I mean, the tenets of consciousness. That's what they say. The hoteppers always are so rigid and they won't allow gender fluidity and things of that nature. So you can be woke. You could basically.
I don't want to confuse woke with the free thought movement.
No, I'm just showing you the trajectory.
Okay.
Because it went from conscious to woke, right? Now it's gonna go from woke to free thought. So they're recreating and reinventing and trying their best to redefine this quote-unquote renaissance or this age of enlightenment that you see taking place. Oh, and then before the free thought, there was the flat earthers and things of that nature. That was a level, no, because you got to remember that also could be identified by some as free thought. Oh, I want to think free. But I want to give the family a definition of free thought so nobody is confused. If you're finished with your initial question, but all right. So the Wikipedia definition of free thought. So we're all, because what they don't do on mainstream media, when they didn't do it on TMZ, and they're not doing it on mainstream media like MSNBC and all of these quote unquote mainstream media outlets that's even bringing up the title of free thought. They won't give you the definition. So free thought, not to be confused with freedom of thought or free will. Free thought is a philosophical viewpoint which holds that positions regarding truth should be formed on the basis of what? Logic, reason, empiricism, rather than authority, tradition, revelation, or dogma. In particular, free thought is strongly tied with rejection of traditional social or religious belief systems. The cognitive application of free thought is known as free thinking, and practitioners of free thought are known as free thinkers. The term first came into use in the 17th century in order to indicate people who inquired into the basis of traditional religious beliefs. Definition: free thinkers hold that knowledge should be grounded in facts, scientific inquiry, and logic. The skeptical application of science implies freedom from the intellectually limiting effects of confirmation bias, cognitive bias, conventional wisdom, popular culture, prejudice, or sectarianism. So there you go, Rich. That would be the definition, so we could properly define and put it to terms, this term that you're beginning to hear. But always keep in mind that it's said that it's grounded in what? Scientifical fact, reason, and logic. So let's go.
So with that being said, the earth is going through a paradigm shift.
Shifting.
You can't stop it.
Paradigm, yes.
The best thing you could do is redefine consciousness, is to put a spin on this age of Aquarius. Spin it into the direction you want it to go.
You want it to spin into.
That you want it to spin into.
Facts.
So with that being said, Red, talk to me about people. Well, before we get into that, there's a concept you brought up. People who just like to be disagreeable. People who like to they could be away their whole life, or they could think a certain way, but if too many people start thinking the way they think, they want to switch up on them.
That group think. They always want to stand out as the quote unquote disagreeables.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They always want to be the quote unquote objective haters. They always want to be objectified. They always want to create, and remember, by doing that, what do you do in the meantime? You create attention towards your disagreeableness. You have people say, well, God damn it, why is this one sticking out of the bunch and going against the grain? What is it to what he has to say? Oh my goodness, maybe he's a free thinker, and he's trying to wiggle out of the box, and maybe he has the answers, because everybody is looking for answers. And anyone is brave enough to go against the mob or mob mentality or the masses, right? You now are on the proverbial, you're on this journey to where you can now be the quote unquote, you could be the one who's going to champion the new way of thinking. And then the sheep are going to follow. So whereas they may think that they becoming free from following the masses, they now hop on the bandwagon of following a new one, a new follower, a new prototype of a quote unquote leader, right? This quote unquote religious, this subliminal religious programming that people have where they're still trained in goddamn 2018 to follow another man or woman. And they calling that free thinker, not realizing you're not that free in your thinking because you're still following the thoughts of another. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, the disagreeables. We have a lot of those in the community, and as you see,
a whole lot.
They always pop up with a, you know what I mean, with a sentiment that's opposite of, you know, what everybody else is thinking, and they create confusion, and they create disagreeableness, and they create sentiments among people who are not grounded in their truths, because the masses in some cases can definitely be the asses, and they sway, they blow with the wind. They're not centered. They straddle the proverbial fence, right? They're followers. They self-identify as followers. And when you deal with followers, followers are not, they're not solid. They have no foundation. They go along with whatever's popping at the moment. And those kind of people, you really, that's you know, going back to the last video, that's where false love and all of this other false, this fake shit is birthed. It comes out of that. You know what I'm talking about? Always having yes men and gophers and people who are not grounded all around in your movement, a part of your movement, ship jumpers, switch siders. You know what I'm talking about? D-riders. But go ahead.
So talk to me about, we mentioned, well, Blue Pill always told us.
Shout out to Blue
Pill. Shout out to Blue Pill. Blue Pill's, he's on the West Coast a lot. And Blue Pill always says, yo, the West Coast form of consciousness is different from the East Coast form of consciousness. Always said that.
Always says that.
When I seen an interview with Kanye, it reminded me of Osho, the whole Osho movement. And it also made me think about how Blue Pill always says that. Yeah. So talk to me about Osho. What's your opinion on Osho and what Osho brought to America? And that version of wokeness or consciousness.
Well, Osho was a legend. You know, the documentary that I saw on Netflix laid out, you know what I'm talking about, how this guru was moving. You know, he was considered a guru in India. He took a vow of silence, meaning that he didn't have nothing to say. He not only took a vow of silence, but he was basically secluded. The people did not see him. He had Europeans traveling to India, spending thousands of dollars to live amongst them, okay, to live amongst them and to be amongst his following and whatnot, and to be a part of his movement. And he's basically, you know, they were meditating, they were having orgies, you know, they were having free sex. They were indulging in what would be considered the free thinking of that day, because remember, you're dealing with Europeans who were rebelling against European culture. They were rebelling against Western culture. European men and women rebelling against themselves, right? Like you see them with their yoga movement right now. Like you saw them in the 60s with the free hippie movement. Like they told you in Hidden Colors and in other places when they were all on a, you know what I mean? We're doing free sex and we're smoking peyote and whatnot and we're living in teepees. They were only emulating the Native American. They were only emulating the quote unquote Aboriginal indigenous Indians and whatnot from the land. So they never necessarily are showing you how they're tapping into their culture. No, these people are conforming to other people's cultures. They're coming with the fiat or the money the same way that they came into Yoruba and voodoo and all of that. The same way that they came into quote-unquote Eastern Indian cultures. The same way that they came into the quote-unquote Aryan cultures all the way back then. And what? They adapted that and they made it their own. So they went and did the same thing with Osho, with the yoga mats and all of the things that he was providing, right? And then he went and bought some land. You know, the same kind of land that Kanye just bought. All of that acreage and property. I believe he bought it in Utah. If it's not Utah, then it's Oregon. And he went ahead and he utilized all of the money that he was receiving from these adherents to his movement to build out a community on that land. and the Europeans who were the quote-unquote red-blooded or do you hear that? So what he did was he built a land, and the Europeans who lived in the state or the city where he was demonstrating his own practices and demonstrating his own movement, they were doing what? Complaining the same way. We were doing our segment and we're being rudely interrupted by a colonizer who's telling us could we be quiet and on our space doing what we do. So what he did, what happened was they went ahead and tried to boss up and remove OSHA and his movement from that land. What happened in the interim? He wound up, his people had to do what? Arm themselves. Because they was on a free love, they was on a loving everybody, hugging the people, you know what I mean? But what the European who lived in that state showed the other European who they saw were on a free thinking thing, they were not evangelical Christians, they were not succumbing to the religious thoughts of the quote unquote.
Down one bit,
so what were we saying? Oh, so we good?
Arm themselves.
So they had to arm themselves with weaponry to protect themselves from the residents of the city who were doing what? They were trying to intimidate them, okay? With the Second Amendment and whatnot. So when I hear Kanye's interview with Charlemagne, you know, all of this woke-ish, you know, he's spouting out all of the, remember, we have woke talking points inside of society now as a result of consciousness being commercialized. So there's woke talking points, like Blue Pill pointed out. When you go to the West Coast, there's all of these woke talking points that they use. Like, you know, I'm just responding to the universe. You know, love will heal everything. You know, all of that shit that you niggas are getting so hype about. Oh my goodness, Kanye is a god. He had a breakthrough. Now, what I'm saying is this. A lot of people are having breakthroughs in this age of enlightenment, either through the use of pharmacopoeia, which is the sedatives or the medication that he admitted to being on, or they're achieving it by meditating, intense studying, having breakthroughs where the third eye is opening up, the pineal is becoming decalcified. Great, you know what I mean? That's beautiful. There's a whole bunch of rappers on the list who are experiencing that as well. So we're not just saying Kanye is the only one. We've seen this on many occasions. But like he was saying before, it just stood out to me as something that I've heard before. It's those West Coast spirituality talking points that everybody always puts out there. It's almost like when people get on YouTube with their conscious hotep talking points. All right, we're not falling for that too far. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. And like I said, that interview was done weeks before the TMZ outburst. You know what I mean? That he admitted later on I was on drugs. He was like, I was on opiate. I was on medication when I went to the TMZ interview. And when I was sitting down with Charlemagne, I was somewhat sober. So we're looking at and we're identifying substance abuse issues, which are spinning out into what we may see as health, what is known as mental health issues. Regardless of how deep he sounds, and we're still dealing with bipolar indications of bipolarism, we're still dealing with cognitive dissonance, and we're also dealing with an extreme form of narcissistic personality disorder. Some people is like, oh, he killed the ego. Really? Did you watch the interview? He killed what ego? Because the ego was in full swing in that interview. Okay? So a lot of people just like to hear those talking points because they're looking for a big brother. They're looking for a celebrity to worship. They're looking for a bandwagon to jump on. They're looking for somebody who's popular. They're looking for somebody who's popular to regurgitate some of their woke moments so they could show family members or parents who may have black sheep them and outcasted them because of their red pill moment, and they're just using that to say, look, Kanye is going through it. You know what I'm talking about? Why don't you accept me? Shit like that. But no.
What is it about the West Coast that these spiritual gurus like the head person in charge of the Osho movement, Sheila, right? Sheila was complaining about how the Hollywood elite got Osho hooked on drugs. We seen the same thing with Kanye and other brothers that went to LA. For some reason, when brothers go out to LA,
them hills, bro,
them hills, something about the consciousness.
Hills have eyes.
They adopt a different version of consciousness. I mean, and even Osho. So talk. What do you think it is about LA consciousness?
Bro, man, I can only speculate because I didn't spend enough time out there to properly decipher what's going on and how it goes on. But from what I've seen, going into the entertainment industry, from the Cosbys of the world to everybody from the Orenthal James, you know, all of the people who are becoming, all of the titans who have been collapsed, all of the people who are not, who are, you know, people are like, niggas is clones, and they're being, you know, they're giving them all of these clone videos and whatnot. You know, a lot of that stuff has to do with the activity that's taking place in those Hollywood hills. So, you know, there's a mixture of pharmacopoeia. I mean, drugs are everywhere, so I don't think that there's just a specific way of, you know what I mean? There's not a specific quantity of drugs that are being taken on the West Coast that Negroes on the East Coast or down South are not taking. There's a level of wealth that's out there that's not really in different places. Like, people like Kanye are experiencing, they're thinking, they come in there nigga rich thinking that they got what they think is wealth, and they're going to these mansions that are hanging off of the side of mountains, and they're becoming astonished because you hear it in people's speeches. Oh, I thought I was wealthy until I went into the West Coast. I thought I was balling until I went into Hollywood Hills, and you know what I'm talking about? They made me rethink this whole thing. So the mixture of status, the mixture of, because like Blue Pill said, there is no black Hollywood. That's a farce. There's these white Hollywood Jews who are running things and all of their minions. And there's these quote unquote tokens and whatnot who with these brothers and sisters who they pick and cherry pick and choose that they're gonna, you know, I'm a Kevin Hart of the world, and you know what I'm saying, it was the Richard Pryors before, you know, they pick and choose different ones to elevate and to basically make the it guy a girl for the moment, and a lot of people are enticed by that, so they're chasing these quote unquote perceivable millions or billions. They're chasing this wealth, they're chasing this bag, they're chasing this acceptance. They want their name on a Hollywood Hall of Fame. You know what I'm talking about? These niggas want to look down and see their name on a star. So a lot of people conform in order to operate in that system. Like Blue Pill said, if there's no black Hollywood in Hollywood, then you're going to have to play by the rules of the power players and the power brokers of Tinseltown. Tinseltown reaches all the way into San Fernando Valley, which is the porn industry. It reaches all the way into Vegas, which is the gambling industry, the setup. It reaches all the way into Hollywood. It's a cabal. So in order to play that power game, in order to play that game where you not only you're getting the bag, but you're accepted into certain parties or into certain circles or into certain kind of networks, you have to play the game that they're playing. And unfortunately, the game that they're playing does not involve free love and free thinking and whatnot. The thoughts are already, it's a dogmatic thought form. It's already figured, they figured the thought pattern is already figured out. Niggas, touch your toes. Black women, bed winch, drop it like it's hot. Bust it open for Zaddy and all of that. Here's the doggy bowl. You know what I'm talking about? We're going to write all kind of stuff on your face. That's what they're doing over there. For the children, grab your ankles, because as you see with the pedophile circles, they have no love in the Disney goddamn studio or the soundstage for the babies. Your children will not be protected from these savages and these leeches and these pedophiles and these vultures that live in these Hollywood Hills. The power brokers, like I said, San Fernando Valley, the same people of Ashkenazi origin that have set up the porn industry are the cousins and also some of the brothers and sisters of the same directors that are running rampant in Hollywood, and what they're the same people. There's no difference and whatnot. So they are feeding off of the people. They're feeding off of the energy, feeding off of the light. They are scavengers. They are the highest form of what you may see as quote unquote reptilian. What did Dr. Phil coin the phrase? What did he call that? The parasitic elite. That's where you find these people at. Henceforth, why a lot of our people have those empty stares in their eyes, because what is missing from them, they take souls out there. All right? When you take another man's manhood from him, you look into that man's eyes, there's nothing left. Ye can lose his soul. You can lose your soul in the pursuit of happiness. You thought happiness was the bag. So in the pursuit of materialism, you lose your soul in those Hollywood hills. God damn it, it can happen on Madison Ave. It can happen on 125th Street if you're not careful. But it seems that it's taking place over there in Hollywood at a very fast pace, and it's not Red Pill saying that. I could pull out a laundry list of multiple people who tried their best to blow the horns or blow the trumpet, and either they got silenced, or when nobody was really listening to them, they wound up falling back and shutting up. They stabbed Corey Haim or Corey Feldman up in the street the other day. Like, yo, hold that, shut up. So, you know, it's you gotta watch out, because those people, that parasitic elite, and don't fall for, like I said, the liberals who are champion what is known as free thought. That's some, we just read the definition of it. If they're running with free thought and it's grounded in science and logic, well, god damn it, that's all the consciousness is dealing with. We giving you science and we giving you logic, and we're saying that y'all are inferior, and the reason why you're carrying out some of that fragility and some of that inferiority is because of your genetic deficiencies. Facts.
Red, you know, when you speak on parasitic elite, it makes me think about the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
And I was watching a clip on Instagram of Amber Rose saying how the white woman hijacked the Me Too movement. The sister there's a sister that started that movement.
Yeah, shout out to her.
And Amber Rose says she felt as though it got hijacked. Yeah. So it seems as though oftentimes a melanated person is the battery to a movement.
Yeah.
And then after a year, a month or so, they get replaced, and you don't even know who started the movement anymore.
That's how that works.
So it seems like the battery right now to this free thought thing, Candace Owens, Kanye West. In a year from now, you may not even hear their name.
They already running with it. You know what I'm saying? It's already being hijacked by the quote-unquote alt-right and the alt-left, or whatever they want to. I don't even know.
I heard alt-righters say they're unapologetically white.
Unapologetically
And I've been hearing
white.
that for years from brothers like Dr. Umar, unapologetically black.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Nothing is safe. Everything gets hijacked, bro.
Yeah, what they're trying to do is they're trying to mirror. They're trying to attach by mirroring. But by mirroring, and if you even play that chess game with them, you still face the possibility of being absorbed. You have to almost ignore. You have to almost turn your backs. You have to almost focus on you and yours, because if you feed that beast, if you feed that energy, if you fall into that quote-unquote Hegelian dialect, you could get checkmated by them. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, they're utilizing the battery. That's why I said in the last video about Kanye, outside of everything that people are trying to point out that he's mad deep, and we didn't catch it right. He said that 400 years of mental slavery, and add the numbers. Listen, cut it out. Cut it out. You know what I'm talking about? What I said is, if they have somebody as a battery such as Kanye West powering their argument, their movement, and what they stand for, he jump-started them. They were dying out. They have no grounds and no legs to stand on. He's giving them another life. He's breathing life into a terroristic, a homeland terroristic organization. That in my book is treason, family. Let's put it on trial. I mean, pull it up. That's treason. That is being a traitor in the eyes of people who are identifying that there is multiple campaigns against them taking place simultaneously. So all we're saying is, yes, him and Candace Owens and other people are powering that whole free thought thing. But we're saying that the free thought, the whole definition of this whole free thought thing, it's not even real. Like, it's not, he's misquoting the goddamn definition. It's not free thinking because he's not freely thinking. All of his talking points are Candace Owens' talking points. And if you look at the TMZ interview, the full interview, who was his handler? Who was there with him? Candace Owens. He's like, yo, I don't even know what this free thought is. I'm just learning this shit. So obviously somebody is teaching him the talking points. When he brought up the whole thing about the murders in Chicago, that is the free thought, that is the Candace Owens talking point. That's the alt-right talking point. He's not thinking for himself. He's not free thinking. He's regurgitating woke-ish, woke talking points. You niggas is impressed? I'm not impressed, okay? He's YouTube binging. This nigga's binging on YouTube, writing down, you know what I'm saying? He's giving you niggas calabash woke-ish, and y'all falling for that, but it is what it is because a lot of people fall for everything and anything. You know what I'm talking about? When I read comments sometimes, the shit that these niggas be espousing, you know what I mean? Like, I could see how he could get a movement because some of these niggas is crazy. The shit that they be believing. So, you know, it is what it is. Focus on what you know to be the truth. Focus on what you know to be facts. Focus on what you know to be real. Yes, that whole thing about love, that's that OSHA shit. OSHA was pushing free love. But he had hammers, bro, because that love shit wore out because he saw the kind of energy that they were trying to bring. So what did he do? He matched that energy. You know what I'm talking about? You trying to tell us to do the same thing. God bless the young boy who died when his lesbian mothers drove him off of a cliff. What was the young man's name? He was, yeah. They had him hugging the police officer, giving out free hugs. But what were they doing behind closed doors? They were abusing him. So a lot of that love shit is fake. I don't fall for that. I'm not with all of that. I'm not hugging no Beckys and none of these people that they pull up with because that's not the way that we're going to solve this thing. You got to love self. You got to love your people. You got to love those on your frequency. You got to love these babies first. You know what I'm talking about? It's going to be your love that's going to help conquer whatever war or whatever smoke that they try to bring to you, because you're not going to win this thing by being anchored in hate. You better love something.
Is love a relative term? Like what you love, what you consider love, you know, there's a group of people that call that hate, and there's some things that a group of people love, you might call that hate.
Of course. Love is very relative. Love is very relative. You know what I'm talking about? Because if Kanye is saying love everybody, he's talking about loving the guy in the Waffle House that killed the people. He's talking about loving the doctor who killed his mother. He's talking about love because, you know, that's what. But when people start espousing things like that, you at least got to give them a year. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that, you got to give that time to mature. Let's see how he thinks a year from now, because it sounds good. Anybody could get up there and say shit like that, but he's going to be tested. The words that are coming out of his mouth and the statements that he's going to make, the universe will test him to see how strong his fortitude is. Do you love those men that robbed and almost raped your wife? You know what I mean? You can miss me with all of that love shit because that's not real to me. I don't believe that. I'm not falling for the okie doke and all of these people who don't want no smoke. They don't want to deal with anything, dealing with any kind of confrontation towards anybody who they perceive to be in power. What do? They cop out with that love shit. They just want to hug people. But our people are not sophisticated enough to not interpret love for sex. So when a nigga say love everybody and love, motherfuckers is bending over, opening up their legs. They think love is in between their motherfucking legs, bro. So you're just helping. So while a mother is grieving for her baby who they just dismembered and killed 2 men in Oklahoma. One of those men had my last name, Moreland. We're trying to find out if we're related to him, right? So while the mother's trying to put the pieces of her children back together, they're going to have a goddamn party bus or a float drive by with mad bedwenches who are rolling with Candace Owens and the Kanye type who just want to love everybody, all loving and having orgies and laying, you know what I mean? Doing all of this love and hugging and shit like that while our people are grieving. No, miss me with that. Miss me with that. You better love freedom and you better love the truth. I love the truth, right? I love justice. You know what I'm saying? I love karma. You know, I love the pendulum when it swings. You feel me? I love justice the way that Thanos loves justice. That's the kind of love that I got. So, you know what I'm talking about? I don't, you know, that's just what I'm saying. So that love thing needs to be redefined, or he needs to put some more definition on that, because like I said, a lot of people, when there's a sexual liberation movement going on where they're telling women to just have sex on some Issa Rae shit, you know what I'm talking about? They're telling them go and have sex with Asian men because they're smarter. The stupidest shit I've ever heard, and somebody said that it's satire. Well, you better go back to the writing table with your satirical partners, because that shit wasn't funny. Your dry humor was drier than a Sahara. It's not funny enough for us. We're not laughing at your ass.
Drier than Becky's potato salad.
Yeah, it's drier than Becky's potato salad. Figure, you know, remix
with
that
raisins,
one.
with raisins,
with raisins and olives. So yeah, I mean,
Yo.
come on, fam.
Bro, before we leave, man, leave them your info. I know when they see that shirt, my brother, they gonna want to know where they could get that at.
Oh, y'all want this shirt? Yeah,
So-
this is on Kings County.
That's the one you supposed to give me to wear
That big
to the June
cartel.
3rd lecture, remember?
You know
and
it's
I didn't
coming.
get it yet.
Is it
You hear
June
that, family?
3rd?
I didn't get mine yet.
Is it June 3rd? You know what I'm talking about? I like to unveil things, you know, when the time is right. So kingscounty.bigcartel.com for the jewelry, for the t-shirts and things like that. Go check Blue Pill out for that gold, them gold drops, Soul Gold Biz. You know what I'm talking about? And go and get that album, twinthealbum.com. Go and get that Cambatta album. Go and get that Holy Ghost album.
The people been asking. They've been going crazy over the GOAT.
We looking for these shows though.
That GOAT song in the beginning, that's off the Holy
that GOAT
Ghost
is
album.
on that. Yeah, that's on that
You gotta
Holy
get the
Ghost.
Holy Ghost album for
Go
that.
get that.
Produced by myself. They asked who
Facts.
produced that, so that's produced by
Facts.
myself, Black Magik. Yes.
We need that twin intro real soon. I ain't gonna talk about that. But yeah, we gonna yeah. You know what I mean? You already know what it is. Patreon /Red Pillar. Salute to all of my signups. We got this attention currency
coming to Patreon. Yeah.
Huh? Attention currency is what it's gonna be called, right?
Coming to Patreon. Yeah.
Yeah. We got that coming to y'all real soon. So love and light to the family. Peace.
Peace.
G, Black Magic, God, Holy Ghost, Lord, G, Pata, orgasmic, order more acid, more than 4 tablets, portal door passage, born before mortal war happened. We were lords way before we were poor black men. Now we like Catherine, only having 4 Jacksons. Sword of pure magic, slaughter 4 dragons. Heat like corduroy fabric, door-to-door tactics. Easy like tortoise on boarded floor backspins. Rapping like the man that created it, and I just play with it. Shine radiant, raising it, sunbathing it. Voice tone sharper than razor tip when I aim it at megaliths, make them raise and lift. You can't relate to this, even if you paint a pic of me and you and somehow make the faces switch. I like to babysit, throne made of baby skin, donated by natives that procreate in sin. They gon' need to raise the rim, they gon' need a cage in that gymnasium. I play to win, Will Still Chamberlain. Put the globe on my middle finger and made it spin. They gon' need to raise the rim, they gon' need a cage in that gymnasium. I play to win, Will Still Chamberlain. Even Damien and Satan is afraid of him. I heard the devil's Tasmanian. Raps made him spin fast, vast, hailing winds. Abstract radiance. Underneath my cracked cranium is gas radium. Hash cast.